Hey everyone, welcome back to Coding Atlas. In our last video, we consider variable length arguments, which is mostly centered around positional arguments. In today's video, we will be considering another similar Python concept, which is variable length keyword arguments, written as kwargs. Before we get into details, let's break down what the term kwargs mean. As you can see, the double asterisk tells Python to accept keyword arguments. When I mean keyword arguments, those arguments that you pass in the form of key and the value. So the keyword kwargs is just convention. You can technically call it anything you like. You can call it name, you can call it data, you can call it info, can call it whatever you like. So kwargs is just the convention. Just like we have args in positional argument, we also have kwargs for keyword. So this double asterisk is what that actually matters. For positional arguments, we use single asterisk, but for keyword arguments, you use double asterisk to tell the function to accept variable length keyword arguments. So to jog your memory a bit about keyword argument, in Python, where you pass arguments to a function, they can be passed either by position or by name. So keyword arguments are those that are passed by name, and they allow us to define arguments in a more readable way. For example, let's say we have a function. Let's call the function say greet user. We want to greet user, we need the name of the user and then the age. Inside of the function, we want to print, so we use f string and we say hello. We use our curly braces, hello user, hello name, not user, hello name. All right, we have curly braces, age, years old. Now if we call our function and say greet user, using positional argument, you are going to pass the name and the age in the same order as the parameters. But using keyword, you are going to say name is equal to this, equal to, all right, and then say age is equal to this. So this is how you pass keyword arguments, and keyword argument allows you to pass your arguments in any order you like. You don't have to follow the same order as the parameters were defined. So what happens when we don't know the number of arguments that will be passed in advance? That is where kwargs come in. Kwargs allows you to pass variable numbers of keyword arguments. So we can see that in an example. Let's create another function. Let's say we have a function here. Let's call the function print user info. All right, so the function, we don't know the number of user parameters, the user arguments that will be provided from the onset. So we are going to use variable length of keyword arguments. So we are going to use the conventional word kwargs. You can as well call it anything you like. You can call this user info or whatever. When you are dealing with variable length keyword arguments, the arguments are collected inside of a dictionary. There is another difference between args and kwargs. Args in your variable length collects the argument in a tuple, but for keyword argument, it collects the argument in a dictionary. So we can initially print kwargs to see what we are dealing with, and then so we want to print user info. We don't know the number of user info that will be provided, so you can say or then in dictionary you can have access to only the key if you use just the dictionary, or you can have access to the key and the value if you use the dictionary and the items method. So we are going to use both the key and the value. In our case, we have the key and the value, then we have in. So the dictionary is going to be kwargs. So we are going to use items method, so we can have access to the key and the value. So inside of the for loop, we are going to print the user info. So we can say f string. The first one we have is the key. Let's pass a colon here, and then the next one is going to be the value. value, right? So if we invoke this function now, we can say print user info. So we can say the name of the user is, let's say, James. We can say age of James. I say James is 25. You can say the location of James. You can say the location of James is New York. You can as well pass as many keyword arguments as you like. So if we run this now, initially in our function we printed the kwargs, and as you can see, the kwargs, the keyword arguments, they are collected inside of a dictionary, unlike a list that we collect it inside of a tuple. So the first key here is name, which is what we printed, and we printed the value, which is James. In the second iteration, you have the key to be age and the value to be 25. In the third one, we have the key to be location and the value to be New York. This is how flexible this is. We didn't have to specify in advance which keyword arguments the function would accept. It can handle as many arguments or it can handle as few as we need. The important thing to understand about kwargs is that it collects all keyword arguments into a dictionary. You can then work with this dictionary just like you would work with any other dictionary in Python. You can access the values by their keys, you can look through it, you can do anything you like with the dictionary. And just like args, kwargs is also safe to work with in that if you like, you may not pass any value into the arguments and it's not going to break your code. You are not going to run into error if you don't pass any value into your argument. So Python is just going to create an empty dictionary. So let's run this now. So you see that Python created an empty dictionary and we did not run into any error. You can also combine kwargs with other regular parameters in a function. For example, in this print user info, you can say you don't want to add the name to the variable keyword argument, so you can as well get out the name. So in this function now, name is a regular parameter which must be provided, unlike the variable length arguments that are optional. You may pass this, you may not pass them. If you don't pass them, you are going to have an empty dictionary. But in this situation now, name is a regular parameter which you must provide whenever you want to call the function. So the kwargs collects any extra argument into a dictionary. This makes the function very flexible because you can still have fixed parameters like name, but it also allows additional user parameters. So before we round up this video, we can as well compare args and kwargs. Args is for positional argument, that is single asterisk, but kwargs is for keyword argument, which is double asterisk. Args collects the argument into a tuple, while kwargs collects the argument into a dictionary. You can use both args and kwargs in the same function, but you should note that whenever you want to use both in the same function, args must come before kwargs. So let's say we have a function here that accepts both variable length arguments, positional argument, and variable length keyword argument. So let's say we have a function, we can call it mixed args. Okay. So this function can accept both positional argument, variable length. So we have a single asterisk, then we have a double asterisk. So whenever you have a function like this that accepts both, args must come before kwargs. So we can print let's print args, which is going to be tuple. We can also print kwargs, which is going to be dictionary. So if you by any chance you pass kwargs before args, you are going to run into error. So you can see parameters cannot follow the double asterisk parameter. So whenever you want to use both of them in a single function, this must come before this. And if you also want to use them with regular parameters, so the regular parameters is going to come first. Let's call this param. Okay, so the regular parameter must come first, followed by positional arguments, followed by keyword parameters or keyword arguments. So, and if you invoke this function, now these two are optional, but this is compulsory. Let's invoke the function mixed args. So if you run this mixed args now, you're going to run into error because it is expecting one compulsory argument, which is param. You can see missing one required position argument param. So if you get rid of this now, you can now run this and you are not going to run into any error. The first one is going to be an empty tuple and the second is going to be an empty dictionary. So here you can say your args, maybe you want your args to be 1, 2, and 3, and then your kwargs, you can say name is equal to, you can say name is Bob, you can say age of Bob is possibly 20. You run this now, so args is going to be a tuple of 1, 2, and 3. Kwargs is going to be a dictionary of name of Bob, age, and age to be equal to 20. Alright, in this video we've covered what kwargs is and how it collects keyword arguments into a dictionary, how to use kwargs to create more flexible functions that can accept any number of keyword arguments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Coding Atlas for more Python tutorials. I will see you in the next video.